I don't even
Oh
remember.
no! Like you guys were bumming everybody out, talking about kid deaths and shit.
Oh
Let's talk
yeah.
about something more upbeat, like abortion.
Know how to describe what it is, but
Alligator man, bear pig.
Skunkape is how like other Floridians have told me, like, oh, you saw the Skunkape.
The what?
Skunkape.
It's Sasquatch.
Yeah, I know what a skunk
is.
I absolutely do. But you've seen a skunk ape. Is that what I'm understanding?
I saw a thing.
Oh.
That I cannot explain what it was. And that is the explanation that people have given me.
Absolutely wonderful.
Okay. No, come on. It's a strain. So we're trying to entertain the people, everybody except Nick, because Nick's a quitter and he's leaving my stream.
We'll talk about this later, though, Spackle. Sorry, Minnow. Spackle.
No. What did you see? I was driving down the road. There were angels. I was running away from the paparazzi. What was going on?
Okay, so I had to stop. I was on like I-41 in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to stop. I would say I was south of Orlando, probably north of Fort Myers, which is a relatively big area, but I don't remember like specifically what area I was, or specifically what town, because I had to pull over to get gas, and I was just like on E, and it was like that whole stretch where there's like no gas for like fucking forever, and you're like, oh my god, okay, finally here's gas. So I pull over and I put in like just enough gas to like get home. It's a long story. It's even why I was there. I was just like, it was, like I said, it was 4:00 in the morning. I was just sick of shit, and I wanted to get back home. Anyway, I get on like the access road to like get back on the highway. And as I'm like, it's like brush, like just like brush solid on the right. And then it's like more brush. And then it like goes under kind of the highway, like the highway kind of goes up. And there is an animal that like was covered with fur, but it ran like on two legs. Ran in front of my car. And my first thought was like, did somebody's like chimpanzee get loose? Or like,
it was Florida, yeah, chimpanzee works.
That was literally my first thought, was like some rich person's chimpanzee got loose. And like, and I like told my friends about it, and they're like, you realize that like chimps don't run like on two legs, like they're four-legged.
Do chimps run?
When a chimp wants to move quickly, it drops down to all fours and runs on its knuckles.
Right.
It's faster.
It was fast.
When they walk on two legs,
any other primates that run on two legs?
But there are.
Bree. Are there any other primates that run on two legs?
Gibbons run on two legs, but they'll do this with their arms while they do. It's very distinct.
It was not doing that. It was like arms swinging.
No, homos. Well, not. I shouldn't say this unique to the genus Homo, because Australopithecines were probably capable of some speedy locomotion as well. But it's definitely the locomotion that you're talking about is very very hominid. That's what year was this?
Probably like 2016, maybe 2015.
And it was long fur, like a yak fur.
Yeah, that's it. That would be a good way to describe it. Yeah, it was like at least several inches long.
And
I couldn't say what color it was.
Wait, how tall do you think it was?
I shouldn't say this. Julie. Hey, Julie.
What the fuck, y'all? Oh my god, you all look so beautiful.
So yeah, we have a skunk ape sighting though, Julie, if you missed it.
Oh yeah, we're doing a little bit of a cryptic corner right now, trying to figure out what Minnow saw in Florida. Was it 10 years ago?
How?
more than 5, probably less than 10.
Okay. All right. So we're thinking Yeti because those are real.
I mean,
And
yeah.
she's I don't know. It might be a gibbon.
Well, again,
Yeah, I wasn't doing this.
gibbons have a very distinct run. No tail. I'm taking it. No tail.
I didn't see a tail. I couldn't say for a fact that there wasn't one. It happened.
Just say it was dusk, right?
Yeah, it was just like, and I was like, I was
No,
sitting on my
was it dark or what time of day?
4 in the morning. It was like pretty much pitch dark, but there were like lights from like the highway and stuff. It wasn't like, if we would have like been out in the woods, it would have been pitch dark, but we were close enough to the highway that it wasn't.
Okay.
So I have a
So that's why
question.
you can't see. You couldn't see. You saw it kind of look like a man covered in hair.
Yeah.
And
But
I'm gonna ask
shorter, actually, I would say like a child covered in hair.
And I'm going to ask a question, and I don't mean this to sound mean, but
I had been smoking a little bit of weed, but I had not done any other substances.
okay.
She's high as a
but not-
motherfucker. She's high as a motherfucker.
Okay.
So,
Have you been dropping
when was the
any
last time-
acid?
When was the last time you slept?
Probably the previous night. So it was maybe like going on 20 hours with, no, not,
Okay.
I guess it was more than 16 hours without sleep.
And how long have you been on the road?
Not that long at that point.
Okay. How did you decide it wasn't a bear? I know that's a weird question, but how did we decide it?
It
arms?
could have been a bear. Do bears run like that?
There's bears that there's a famous bear that hurt one of his front paws, and he moves all the time on his hind legs.
All right. Was
Okay.
it a bear?
Black
was it
bears.
on a unicycle?
It wasn't a unicycle.
No unicycle. Well, bears
I've
usually.
never thought about bear.
Florida has some great, a fantastic bear population.
They do. And my first thought was like it was thinner than a bear, but some bears are very thin.
Mhm.
My other thought was like that its face was not elongated, but it was like turned towards me. So like maybe I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
But do bears do this?
I don't think that they usually, when bears walk, they have their front legs held out in front of them. They
So
can't
how
hold
was
them down to
how
their
was the
side.
arm?
But it
You said
doesn't
the arms were
make
like this.
Yeah, it was like booking
Yeah,
it, like a
bears
sprinter.
don't have their shoulders
Okay.
don't rotate that the way that ours do. We could definitely pull up some videos of bears hustling on their hind legs, but I think but when a bear wants to get going fast too, in a situation like with a car coming, unless there was some physical ailment that was keeping it walking on its hind legs, it would, in order to gain more speed, it would drop down to all fours, because bears can, on all fours, they can hustle like 35 miles an hour. They're as fast as a horse.
It was fast. It was really fast. I don't know if I have a good way of judging like how fast it was, because literally it just like went across the street.
And it was crossing a 4-lane or just a 2-lane?
2-lane.
Or
2-lane.
Hmm.
And then it like went down under, like there was, like it went down under the highway.
Interesting.
All right. So, is there any possibility that you like temporarily switch dimensions?
Or the Sasquatch could have switched dimensions.
Oh no, Sasquatches are dimension jumpers. I learned this
True, and
recently.
that's why they're so blurry. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
No, yeah, we're gonna need drinks because we're doing a whole cryptic corner thing.
At least I got weed, though. I do have weed tonight.
I like to imagine that Stool's actually lying on the floor with his legs up in the air right now, just because.
Hey, Stool, you said you've been to the U.S., right? Were you in Florida? Were you in Florida? 2016,
No,
I think.
No, I was in.
You were
No,
where?
I was not.
Are you sure? Let's think
Hang
back
on,
now.
I'm hearing two different conversations going on here. Right, start again, Bree.
Were you in Florida in 2016?
No, I was not. I deny all charges. Why do you
have
ask?
any alibi at all? Anybody who can vouch for your whereabouts?
I have the Highland cow, if you remember,
Oh, yes.
and
Okay. I'm sold.
a sailor, a sailor with a big lengthy cable.
I've seen pictures of the Highland cow, so Stool's got a good alibi. You were
So, Bree, Rex wants to know if it could possibly be a chupacabra.
Chupacabras are. So there's two kinds of chupacabras. There's the chupacabras that were seen in Puerto Rico, which were these really bizarre kangaroo-looking alien beings with big red eyes and spines that attacked goats and things like that. That's strictly in Puerto Rico. Then there's the chupacabra of the mainland, mostly in Mexico, into Texas and the Southwest, and into the southern states a bit. That is essentially a coyote, fox, domestic dog, a raccoon, or some other caniform, sometimes a bear even, some other caniform.
Wait, somebody thought a raccoon was a chupacabra? That wasn't a bit of a reach?
What's that?
So somebody thought a raccoon was a chupacabra?
Yeah, all they have to do is have mange. Basically, these animals with mange look very bizarre. So a raccoon
or some type of tooth deformity. They like to say it's a chupacabra if it has some type of tooth deformity as well.
Yeah, that and they'll be malnourished too, so they'll have gnarly teeth and be really skinny.
Now, I used to tell my cat that he was not allowed out after dark because chupacabra was going to get him. And then when I had Puerto Rican neighbors move in next door, I realized that I probably shouldn't yell that out the door. It's maybe a little bit.
Some wild videos that people would throw together at chupacabra sightings back in the early days of the internet. I remember sleuthing through those and trying to parse what was real of them. There were some crazy ones.
Well, because weird shit happens to livestock. And animals sound weird when weird shit happens to them. So those two things combined, you can get some pretty wild stories.
Yeah, there's a channel that I started following of this. I'm following it and wait until it unfolds to something super interesting before I delve into it. It is going to be on Cryptic Corner, but it's this. He was farmhand in the 60s.
Now, I used to my cat that he was not allowed out after dark because chupacabra.
Anyway, there's this old guy. He was a farmhand and rancher that took care of all this land with buffalo on it, and they kept finding the buffalo with these dead with these red triangles on their foreheads, and if they were pregnant, the red triangle would be on their stomach where the baby was carried. And in the middle of the night, sometimes they would hear heavy metal, or not heavy metal, some of it was heavy metal, hard rock and heavy metal music playing from nowhere. In the middle of the night, it'd be Led Zeppelin and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I think we're in Mathpig StreamYard.
I don't know how to do things. Give me a second. Okay, how's that?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, now I can't hear you.
You know what?
Hey, I love you guys so much. I'm gonna go and you bring in someone who has technical expertise. And
love you, Jerry.
I've seen you forever. I'm so glad you came by.
It's been so long since I've seen at least 3 of you. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye.
Oh, you know what? Because Cristola said something.
I mean, to be fair, Bree, I have been meaning to talk to you about that thing that I saw in Florida for a while. Haven't I?
I have more questions, but
deconstruct this.
Okay. If Maya's okay with us side railing her.
No, yeah. No. I do not have
an opportunity.
I'm ready to get to the bottom of this because I have wondered about this for so long.
So it is not a given. It is not a chupacabra. It is not a man bear pig.
No, I don't think it was a man bear pig.
Well,
bear actually does sound the closest at this point, but I'm not convinced that it was a bear. I'm also not convinced it was a Skunkape. I feel like I need to be clear about that. Like, I just want to know what it was.
And you're sure it was running bipedally though, and it
Yes.
wasn't an ostrich for sure because it had arms.
It had arms, yeah.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't an ostrich.
Okay. Well, ostrich farms exist.
And a head and everything as well.
Yeah. It was. So and it's the funny thing you said is that it was too thin to be. You thought maybe it was too thin to be a bear.
Yeah.
So Sasquatch, I don't know about necessarily the skunk ape specifically. Skunk apes are actually supposed to be a little bit smaller than Sasquatch. So Sasquatch are big. They're supposed to be like over 6 foot tall, somewhere between 6 and 10 feet tall, and huge, massive creatures.
This had to be under 5 foot. I would say probably closer to 4 foot tall.
Yeah, that's more like in the skunk ape height range too. And I say in the skunk ape height range is in what other people report when they report a skunk ape.
Okay.
That it was
because that was like my initial when people were like, "Oh, it's a Sasquatch." I was like, "This was like if it was a Sasquatch, it was like a baby Sasquatch or like a juvenile Sasquatch."
Skunk apes
that would make sense if it was a smaller breed.
They're supposed to actually. The claim is that they're actually an ape. That they're like not a hominid or a human, but an actual an ape. That's adapted to live in the marshes, so it walks bipedally, and it's evolved to walk bipedally because it has to stand in the swamp, right? And they're allegedly do all sorts of weird stuff, like tie snakes to tree branches and things like that. The sightings, people usually see them in like cypress swamps and things like that, like way back, and it's just this big dark mass moving, and you can tell it's standing on its hind legs. Now, as for me, I'm not convinced that that's not how bears move through the marshy
really
water like area like that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's just where I stand on it. However, your sighting was not in the water, and the size does match up, and the description. I wish you had. Could you tell me more about the color of the hair?
It was like darker than my hair, but I can't say if it was like
darker than my hair,
black, or if it was like a black brown, because I did have like headlights like directly on it. And you know how like sometimes when you're just like that up on the headlights that you can't even, it's so bright that you can't really tell color. Like that's
okay. Did the eyes shine?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
Hey.
And I would say,
evening, Mr. Weasel.
My first thought was chimpanzee.
Hello.
Chimpanzee. That's the hair length you're talking about, then?
I don't remember. Like, I'm trying to like remember specifics about the face, and like I don't know how much detail I remember and how much I was just like, oh well, it was a chimpanzee, so I'm remembering a chimp face. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What county was this in?
It was south of Orlando, but north of Fort Myers.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
An overhead look here.
Hi.
Talk amongst yourself for just a minute.
Great our guest, guys.
Welcome. Is that
Sorry,
Dr. TapiocaWeasel?
It is.
It is. Hello, Doc.
Do you have anything to contribute? Have you ever seen a Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch thing? Man, bear, pig, perhaps.
I have. Well, okay. So man, bear, pig. I feel like because of the recent sort of genesis of that as one of the cryptids, although chupacabra is pretty close. There's a certain amount of flexibility. Also, given the fact that it was immediately exposed to a international audience because of the extremely irresponsible scientific work of Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I think we can all say that it was a loss for possible genuine advances in cryptidology or whatever.
He does have a point.
Cryptozoology.
Cryptozoology, that's the term I'm looking for.
So Titan
like
Uranus is very disappointed because you do not look like either a tapioca nor a weasel.
I mean, you know, we all have things that we strive to be and fail. And I guess being either of the things I claim to be is one of those. Oh, well, I claim to be three things, okay?
You are one
A
of them.
tapioca, a weasel, and a doctor. And I'm a real doctor, but not a physician. I'm not a physician.
Are you like a Kent Hovind doctor?
Are you a Dr. Dino?
No, hold on.
I mean, you don't have to show it. We believe you.
There we go.
All right.
We just want to
Is
know
that a doctor of
what field you
philosophy?
were a doctor in.
So he is like a real doctor, but it's kind of
All
like a Kent Hovind
PhDs,
doctor.
all PhDs are doctors of philosophy.
Yeah, no,
what
that was going to be my
PhD
next
is.
question. Like, what's it in?
Physics.
Physics.
You're a
Oh my
Physics,
God,
yeah.
great. I know a physicist.
You
Like-
really don't read the private chat, do you, Maya?
No.